Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. First of all, if you've recently subscribed, a big thank you. Really means a lot. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Right, what we're doing today then? Well, it's bank holiday weekend. I did have some plans to go away camping in the van with the Fambo. They've been put on the back burner because the weather is absolutely atrocious for this time of year. Really cheesed off about it, but hey, it is what it is. What can you do? So what we're going to do then, right, well, thought I'd do some jobs on the van. So today I've been wanting to do it for a while. I've just been waiting for the weather to get a little bit better. But the spare wheel underneath and the spare wheel carrier is in need of some TLC. So we'll take that off. We'll give it a bit of a degunge, give it a rub down, get rid of some surface rust. We'll give that a coat of paint, see how it looks. Hopefully it'll look a lot better and we'll stick it back on the van. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. So we've got it up on axle stands. Well, I've got it up on one side. Should be able to do it with just the one side jacked up. Got my green mat down just to keep my back dry, and a mat for my head. So let's get under there and get that wheel off. Okay, so here we are at the business end. For those of you that have never taken your spare wheel off before, this is the carrier that I was talking about, and then obviously your spare wheel. And to take it off, you have two 19mm bolts. Okay, one is a securing bolt and the other one just needs loosening off. So you remove that one and you will loosen this one off halfway, and then you'll be able to push this up and across, and then the whole assembly will drop down, allowing you to get the spare wheel from there. Never understood why they made the bolt this long. Ta-da! It's one. Okay, so now we need to push up and across. Right, loosen that one halfway and up and across. Right, so once the spare wheel is out of the way, you'll notice that the carrier is held on by this pin, and from what I can see, it just needs to have a pliers or a mole grips put on that side and then straightening out that bend, which will allow the pin to slide out that way, which will then allow us to get this carrier off so we can give it a good clean and a lick of paint. Let's see how we get on. Okay, so I'm going to try more grips. Come on, you bugger. She's coming. There we go. Ta-da! Now that was actually easier than I thought. A lot easier than I thought. There we go, she's off. Now let's get her cleaned. It's not in too bad a nick actually, a bit of corrosion on there. It's not too bad at all, but we'll give it a clean, give it a rub down, lick of paint, and it'll look a lot better. So there she is, looking a bit worse for wear. Now it is only a spare wheel, I know, but if I ever need that spare wheel, hopefully I never do, but when I do, I want it to look good. So we'll give this a clean up, coat of paint, and we'll stick it back on under the van. So first step we're going to do is we're going to give it some degreaser, let it soak in, bit of a wash, bit of a scrub before we go any further, because it's absolutely minging. So after giving it a good wash, it doesn't actually look too bad. There's just a couple of areas that I'm going to tickle with a bit of sandpaper just to get some loose bits off. I don't know if you can see them. Now usually what I would do is I would go over this with a grinder and a wire wheel on a grinder, but I think I would be doing more harm than good because there's only one or two rust spots. So like I said, I'm going to give them a bit of a tickle with some sandpaper and then give it a good clean with some brake cleaner, ready for some paint. Okay, so she's all prepped, cleaned, rubbed down. I've given it a little tickle with some sandpaper just to provide a little key so that the paint sticks. I'm using this Hammerite Direct to Rust metal paint in satin black. As you can see there, £10.59 from a local hardware store called Sturma. Yeah, I've made my little makeshift booth. It's getting late now and I wanted to get a couple of coats on it so we can put it back tomorrow. Yeah, so we'll give it a couple of coats and see how it looks. Now it does say that this stuff is quick drying, and it says to allow 15 minutes before coats. So I'll press pause there because I'm sure you don't want to see me do loads of coats. So see you soon.
Happy days.
And here is my hastily masked off wheel. Please don't laugh, cardboard is all I could find because we don't read newspapers in this house, and I've run out of masking tape, so it'll do. Like I said, it's only a spare wheel, we're not going for a showroom finish, but she's all ready for the dusting of black paint. Let's see how we get on. bridge. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to stick some tyre dressing on there and get it back on the van. Okay, so here we are back at the business end, so we're just going to put this back on. Points to note, okay, we've got two sets of holes. It goes on the bottom one, which locates on these lugs here. Where did the pin go? Got the pin in. Okay, once the pin is located in place, grab your mold grips, and just bend it back over. There we go, so that's not going to go anywhere. Now, anybody who's been via the channel before will know that I'm a big advocate for greasing stuff up. So I'm just going to go a step further and plaster that with loads of copper grease, just to try and keep the rust at bay. There we go. Right, so now we can move them out of the way and we can bring the wheel in. Obviously you want to try and bring it in without scratching your new paintwork. Locate it over the bolt. Lock it into place. Again, I like to apply some grease to the bolts. That just makes sure that should you ever need to use your spare wheel at the side of the road, you're going to be able to get the bugger off. So, top tip if you're ever doing this, making sure your spare wheel goes on with the valve facing downwards so that you can check the tyre pressures, which again, while you're doing this job, would be a good time to make sure that your tyre is inflated, so should you ever need it, it's not going to be flat. Longer bolt. A bit of grease just on the thread. Just like that. Right, that's it, all done. Wheel is back on and looking sweet. What can I say? Well, I've said it before, guys, I've not got any immediate plans to get rid of this van in the near future, so I like to keep it looking its best, well, as best as it can for its age, so that when I do come to selling it, hopefully I get top dollar. Well worth considering doing if you've got a T5 and you're hanging on to it, do you know what I mean, for that very reason. And there's nothing I hate worse than looking underneath a vehicle and seeing rust. So any little jobs you can do like that to make it look better are well worth doing, in my opinion. What did it cost me? It cost me 20 quid in a couple of tins of Hammerite Satin Black from a local hardware store. You know, and a couple of hours work in between when it bloody stopped raining. The wheel looks 10 times better for when you look underneath there now, without a shadow of a doubt. And if I ever need to use that spare wheel, it's going to be the same colour as the rest of the wheels that I've got on the van. Yeah, so that's it. Nothing else left for me to say really, apart from thanks for watching. Give the video a like if you like this sort of content. Please consider subscribing, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. Ciao for now.